Number 10, The Crash. This list gets pretty dark, so we'll start it out on a funny note, just to give you a little shred of hope, you know? This version, The Crash, is a turtle. Well, in fact, the JLA on Earth C- stands for Just a Lot of Animals. He first appeared in Captain Carrot and His Amazing Zoo Crew issue 14, what a name right there. Of course, alongside other amazing cute heroes like Super Squirrel and Martian Anteater. And also in this universe, Batman is Bat Mouse, not a bat, which is odd, but maybe that's too meta, I don't know, I get it. The Crash's main villain is the Weather Weasel. He still runs at blink and you'll miss it speeds despite being a turtle. Honestly, this book is just full of animal jokes. How do you not love that? Also, Elongator? Get out of town. Take my money. This is the best thing I've ever seen. Number 9, Lady Flash. After these two scientists were inspired by the current Flash, Barry Allen, Dr. Peter Orloff and Dr. Krulik had different ideas when it came to using the Flash's powers. See, Orloff was into the idea that more of these powers being used could bring society together, bring us into harmony, whereas Krulik was interested in the military use of it. A serum was underway and Orloff used animals as test subjects, just a lot of animals, but Krulik wanted humans to test it on. Both pretty bad. He tried it himself, but after running at super speed for the first time, the friction burned him to a crisp. Yeah, that's how that works. The Kremlin had given the pair 3 children to test on, Gregor, Boleslaw, and Christina. They became Blue Trinity together with Orloff in charge. Now, once the Manhunters betrayed Blue Trinity, the team was sold to Vandal Savage, where he would then experiment with them using a substance called Velocity 9. Shortly after Vandal Savage apparently killed the Flash, Christina became Lady Savage, and then Lady Flash once Vandal gave her a stolen Flash suit. Now, when the Flash did come back to life to take on Vandal, Christina ended up switching sides, and in turn was able to keep jogging along in that costume as Lady Flash. And before we continue on with this list, if you guys want to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, it's the one that looks like that, not that one, but that one, it really does help us out quite a bit. You guys are the best. Now let's get right back to this ultimate Flash list. Number 8, SELA Allen. Making her first appearance in the Flash Volume 2, issue 146, SELA Allen is from the 23rd century in Central City. She gets attacked by Cobalt Blue, and in turn, she's left in what I think is an absolute nightmare scenario. Everything for her is in slow motion. Kind of like those dreams where you're trying to run, but your legs are made of, toffee. It's not great, it's a nightmare. So her father was determined to now find a solution because, well, of course. So he attempted to use the Speed Force to cure her, but her consciousness got locked inside of it. Also a nightmare. So now she was a being made up purely of speed. She enhances others' speed in there and she dishes out advice. She's helpful, but she can't leave the Speed Force. What a tragedy. Number 7, Leah Nelson. Earth 9's version of the Flash is one of the most powerful and popular. Double whammy. She's actually the second most recognized person on the planet, despite traveling at blink and you'll miss it speeds. She made her first appearance in Tangent Comics Flash issue 1 back in 1997, created by Dan Jurgens, Todd DeGazzo, and Gary Frank. Now, Leah was famous since birth, not because of her whole abilities, but because her parents were the first astronauts to go on the Jupiter mission. Once Leah grew up and learned how to control these abilities, she took on the alias The Flash, but still wasn't sure if she was loved by the public because of her abilities or just because of who her parents are. Kind of like a Kardashian. She joined the Secret Six later on, but her main goal was to get rid of that world's Harvey Dent, aka Evil Superman. She even got Wally West to help join the fight in Tangent Superman Reign issue 1. Leah is made of light, like literally she could control and manipulate light, but perhaps one of the best features is that she's an amazing actor, like that would definitely come in handy. During Countdown Arena issue 1, Leah pretended to be a damsel in distress to manipulate Jay Garrick of Earth 2. So many skills. I love it. Number 6, Kingdom Come Flash. On our last list, we were breaking down 10 different versions of Superman, so if you haven't checked that out, do so after this video. It should be somewhere over there. But in it, of course, we mentioned the Kingdom Come storyline. In the Flash of Earth 22, Wally West was the father of Kid Flash and a member of the Justice League. So after Superman had retired, he took his job into overdrive. He was sprinting crime scene to crime scene, just a constant force. You couldn't even have a conversation with the guy. He was that busy. Lots to do now that Supes is gone. I mean, more than fair. The Kingdom Come storyline is one of the most compelling for our characters, especially because the Flash couldn't stop. He didn't have a choice to retire. He had a daughter in this reality as well, named Kid Flash, so he was busy. Number 5, Zoom. Making his first appearance in the Flash Secret Files Origins issue 3, Hunter Zolomon, aka Zoom, believed himself to be the true Flash. He was the main enemy of Wally West Flash, and he took his name and appearance from the original Reverse Flash. Now it all began when he was injured in an attack from Gorilla Grodd. He was left paralyzed from the waist down, so he asked Wally West if he could, use the cosmic treadmill and maybe go back in time and prevent that horrible life-altering event to take place, something like that. But it's not that easy. Wally said he couldn't do it because you can't risk the time stream. But Hunter was so desperate, he broke into the museum and tried to use the treadmill, but this resulted in an explosion that gave him super speed. Going of course by the name Zoom, he believed that Wally West declined to help out because he never experienced loss. He had no idea what he was talking about, I guess. So Hunter took it upon himself to take out Linda Park, Wally's wife. What a horrible way to teach a life lesson. And then in the Flash issue 200, Wally West uses his powers to freeze Zoom and make him repeat the worst day of his life over and over. That's honestly a pretty messed up thing to do, Wally. I mean, it's not very heroic, but we get it. You kind of sound like a villain though. I mean, someone repeating the worst day of their life? Jesus, dude. Just ground them. Make them bored. Number 4, Avery Ho. One of the leading members of the Justice League of China, Avery Ho's Flash made her first appearance in the Flash Volume 5, Issue 3. She got her powers through the Speed Force storm of Central City, and at first she didn't have much control over them at all. She would just constantly vibrate, which sounds like a headache. It sounds like a nightmare, not being able to stop vibrating. Oh my god. She was visited by Barry Allen though, and he taught her how to control that vibrating problem, and then later on, she was brought to Dewan Speed Force Academy to learn even more. When an unknown speedster was killing the current speedsters, Avery was able to warn Barry, and in the end she was one of the lucky ones who got to retain her powers while dealing with Godspeed, who I'll explain later on. Number 3, Dark Flash. Walter West first appeared in the Flash Volume 2, Issue 150. His life was pretty similar to Wally West's, only difference was his eyes were blue instead of green. Oh, and also his wife Linda Park did die at the hands of Cobra. Sad stuff. I see why his name is Dark Flash already, yikes. So afterwards, Walter joined forces with Savitar, took notes, and then killed him. So when Linda just randomly appeared outside of the Flash Museum though, things changed. Wally and Linda, the alive Linda, alternate reality, ended up in Walter's timeline, but they weren't alone. Abracadabra followed them through that time stream and then attacked. This guy had to watch his wife die again, which is so brutal. So his next plan was to go back through the time stream to Wally's reality, take his place as the Flash, and maybe, I don't know, do some healing, do some good. When you travel through timelines, things get messy. The realities begin to merge, and the livelihood with everybody at both worlds was now at stake. So while Walter was in his new home, he met Central City police scientist Angela Margolin and fell in love, only to have to leave her down the road. Walter can't catch a break at all. This is really sad. Number 2, Red Racer. Coming from Earth 36, Ray, aka Red Racer, was a formidable teammate to the Justice 9. He first appears in Action Comics Volume 2, Issue 9. Red Racer was of course the speedster in this universe, and the leader of this Justice 9 was Opti-Man, before he got killed by Super Doomsday of Earth 45. Earth 36 is based on the golden and silver ages of DC Comics, and in the Multiversity Guidebook, Red Racer is seen with Barry Allen and other Flashes that I've mentioned in a flashback to before Crisis on Infinite Earths. Red Racer is a comic book fan who gets his powers and falls in love with Flashlight, one of his teammates, Hank Hallmark, who happens to be the Green Lantern of this multiverse. What a powerful couple right there. I mean, they really were living a comic book fan's dream. The thing about being fast is sometimes you need to risk your life for the greater good. So when Supermen of the multiverse were being hunted down, Ray himself built a new ship. Now it should have taken thousands of years, so this is a pretty big thing to offer up. President Superman Kal-El warns Ray about the dangers of compressing thousands of years in order to build this new Thule, but Ray replies saying, "Speedsters never think about the cost." What a legend. Especially after hearing all of that, I'm like, hey man, you should think about like a little bit of the cost, like a smidgen of the cost. Iris West II. AKA Impulse, Iris West and her twin brother Jai were born to the third Flash, Wally West and Linda Park. Iris made her first appearance in the Flash Volume 2, Issue 225, and when she was born, at first she didn't display any powers, but after the 3-month mark they began to age rapidly, and they were getting faster and faster. Linda was concerned at the rate of their aging, so Wally encouraged them, to use their powers for good and live a full life, even if it is short. Iris is one of the fastest in the game, and by game, I mean the entirety of the multiverse. She's faster than Wally West, so if that doesn't sell you, I'm not sure what will, to be honest. Number 10, Jay Garrick. He made his first debut back in Flash Comics Issue 1. He was the first Flash, so we figured we gotta start with him. He rocks the blue pants and the red top with the lightning bolt. Classic look, but the thing that stands out the most with Jay is probably his winged hat, Hermes' helmet. He's got super speed and pinpoint accuracy with a helmet. He'll throw a helmet at your kneecaps if he can't catch you. This dude is a badass. He wasn't on a god level like some of these other versions that I'll mention, but he could run at the speed of sound, which back in the 40s, that was quite impressive. Jay went to Midwestern University in Keystone City, majoring in both chemistry and physics, but when an experiment to purify water went south, these fumes knocked him out for a whole week. During that beauty sleep, Jay's body rejected nutrients and his metabolism increased greatly. When he did finally wake up, his new powers got him a spot on the Justice Society of America while remaining a scientist. He's getting it done, heroic way and in the nerdy way. We love him. Number 9. Barry Allen. One of the most popular versions of the Flash, of course, has got to be Barry Allen. He made his first appearance in Showcase issue 4 when he was just a child. His mother was sadly killed and his father was convicted of the crime. Barry was so determined to prove his father's innocence, so he went to school at Sun City University, receiving a major in organic chemistry and a minor in criminology. As an adult, he moved to a Central City apartment and began dating Iris West, a reporter from Picture News. An electrical storm hit one night when Barry was working on an experiment when a bolt of lightning hit him while shattering a cabinet full of chemicals. Now this resulted in Barry being now the fastest man alive, and he tried to hail a taxi, but when he ran after it, he was much further than he intended on going. Pretty sweet discovery. He used his power to save Iris West from a stray bullet, and after that point he knew he had to do more. The first villain Barry ever went toe-to-toe with, ironically, was the Turtle Man. Barry wasn't used to controlling these speeds yet, so he would just keep whizzing by him in random directions. It was actually pretty stressful. The Turtle guy did not bad. Slowest guy on Earth versus the fastest guy on Earth, and somehow it came close. He was in a rowboat and he's like, "Can't catch me, Barry." He's like, "I can." And before we continue on with this list, if you want to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, that would be awesome. It helps us out so much here on the channel. You guys are the best. Now let's get right back to this list. Number 8, Wally West. So after Barry Allen sacrificed his life in the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline back in 1985, it was Wally West who stepped up to take on the Flash mantle next. He popped up for the first time in the Flash issue 110. He was born in Blue Valley, Nebraska, and he grew up daydreaming about being the Flash one day. So when his Aunt Iris was dating Barry Allen, like the Flash that he dreamt of being, it was like a dream come true. It was like meeting your idol. He was in Barry's apartment and the chemical cabinet was the exact same as how when Barry got his powers, so Wally just had to ask about it. Well, it turns out the weather was also the exact same on this night because Wally wished that he would become the Flash, and it happened. Lightning hit, creating another speedster. That's pretty encouraging. I'm just gonna go hang out near my medicine cabinet next time there's a storm. Just wait. Number 7, Speed Demon. Blaze Allen, coming in hot from the Amalgam universe, is a powerful combination of Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze and Barry Allen's Flash. This unit first showed up in Speed Demon issue 1 back in 1996, and it all started when Blaze was working at the Quinton Carnival. He married Iris Simpson, but then when the Night Spectre came along and drained Iris of her life force, Blaze Allen fell into a deep depression. If I saw anybody get the life force sucked out of them, I wouldn't sleep, so this makes total sense. Blaze was turning to magic to figure this whole thing out. And no, I don't mean the card game. The real deal. He got so deep into magic that Merlin the magician, helped him bond with the demon Etrigan in order to ensure his late wife's soul was resting in peace, becoming Speed Demon. And so now becoming Speed Demon, he would go on to fight Dr. Doomsday, the Two-Faced Goblin, the Night Spectre, and many more. Once his secret identity was discovered by his nephew Wally West, they both freed the souls also being held by Night Spectre, including Iris Simpson and Jay Garrick. Number 6, the Tornado Twins. Dawn Allen, the daughter of Barry Allen, made her first comic book appearance with Adventure Comics 373. She was conceived in the 30th century after her dad's retirement, but she was born after his death in the first Crisis. She had a twin brother also named Don, just spelled D-O-N. They had only a fraction of their father's speed, but they were still quite powerful even so. They never got to know their father, so when Wally West arrived in their century, he was kind of shocked that they weren't using their gift to save others every day. But they did assist Wally into getting back to his own timeline by lending some Speed Force energy. After this point, the twins were inspired. They had that fatherly figure to look up to, even if it was only for a moment. After this day, they started to operate as the Tornado Twins. Later on, they would sacrifice their lives to save the Earth from the Dominators, and their deaths were seen in Legion of Superheroes Volume 4, Issue 17. Now, although this portion of Legion history was erased after Zero Hour, their deaths were confirmed in The Flash Volume 2, Issue 92. Number 5, Excess. First appearing in Legionnaires in 1994, Jenny was the daughter of Don Allen, one of the twins that I just mentioned. Right after her birth, the family was attacked by Professor Zoom. Her uncle Don and the rest of the family tried to get away. They tried to escape to a parallel Earth using the handy-dandy cosmic treadmill, but things went south and Jenny and her family got stranded on Earth 247, aka post-zero hour. At first, Jenny didn't inherit any speed powers, but the Dominators, captured her anyways. They saw that last name on her ID and they're like, we're still gonna take her, let's still do it. So she saw her father being tortured and voila, it happened. Her powers came to be. So she saved her father and then got out of Dodge, and then Jenny started to train right away, and it didn't take long until she was drafted into the Legion of Superheroes. I mean, aside from the tragedy, it's a pretty cool family. Number 4, Mary Maxwell. Just imagine, Stan Lee's The Flash was released back in 2002, and it's a fun tribute towards the talented artists and writers at DC Comics. This new look at The Flash introduces readers to Mary Maxwell, a college student living with a degenerative disease, and of course she was a fan of superheroes. Her father was a scientist working on a cure, but the stealth organization took care of him. Sad stuff. But before his untimely death, he injected Mary with that serum that he'd been putting together, with the key component being hummingbird DNA. So Mary was cured, and as you would guess, she turned into a living hummingbird. No, she got super speed, and she's actually almost as fast as Barry Allen. But the fact that she isn't connected to the Speed Force makes her a little bit less quick, but still not too shabby at all. Number 3, Black Flash. Making its haunting first appearance in The Flash Volume 2, Issue 138, the Black Flash was said to be seen right before the deaths of Barry Allen and Johnny Quick. Max Mercury had a close call with death, so he too saw it. It's literally the personification of death, and at first it came for Wally West, but instead it took his girlfriend Linda Park into the Speed Force. When it later returned, Wally had backup this time. The only ones that could help were the ones connected to the Speed Force, like Jay Garrick, Max Mercury, Jesse Quick, so on and Danforth. They all joined the battle, and finally Wally was able to defeat the Black Flash. Wally raced it to the end of time to do so. He raced it to a place where death had no meaning, so in turn it just dissipated. Now the title Black Flash was also used when Professor Zoom was in his Black Lantern form. Little fun fact. Number 2, Red Death. An evil fusion of Batman and the Flash. Say no more. Batman was the hero of Gotham City. He had his Robins, the usual story, but slowly as his sidekicks were biting the bullet, Bruce Wayne wanted more power to prevent the next one from happening. But he felt like still he wasn't fast enough. He felt like if he had the Flash's power, he could have done a better job. So he tried. He took out every Flash villain, he took all their weapons, and he used it to fight Barry Allen. Batman used his Batmobile and merged it with the cosmic treadmill, absorbing his powers, and then the Red Death was born. Now at this point, the Red Death was totally fine with killing. And even worse, he was okay with Barry's consciousness living inside of him, telling him to stop. Man, I thought having a song stuck in your head was bad. Imagine Barry Allen. It'd be a nightmare. And finally, number 1, Future Flash. The Flash from the Out of Time storyline made his first appearance, last appearance, I guess, in The Flash Volume 4, Issue 30. Now we're talking 20 years into the future, and at this point Barry witnessed the death of Wally West and he felt guilt. He used his powers to go back in time and kill every enemy that was somehow involved in the path leading there. He does this, but eventually he comes into contact with himself, present day Barry Allen. And then Wally also shows up to stop this dark future Barry, so it's one of those weird ones. It's one of those storylines where Future Flash was actually always responsible for the death of Wally 20 years later. You can't change fate, no matter how fast you can run.